So, what's that one?
You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this.
Good morning and welcome to SA Soccer Roundtable. My name is Harry. Sorry for my voice. Was a long day yesterday, early morning. And then for us all three to do the show, had to set the alarm clock early. We have Rafa. How are you?
Good. It's a little early. I've been enjoying the hangover from yesterday.
You shopping for your 14th ring or?
Yeah, we're already out of hand, so I need to grow another hand.
Royce, welcome back. It's been a couple days.
It's been a while. How are y'all doing?
Doing all right here. How is things at the Royce household? At this point?
It's been nuts. This weekend has been a crazy weekend. I recently bought a truck in the last couple days, and thank you. And that set off a domino effect. That my wife and I had agreed if I buy the truck, then she gets a new fridge and a new dinette set. So we have been single-handedly trying to jumpstart the economy. So you're welcome, America.
Well, it's the economy that's not in trouble. That's why inflation is high.
It's called compromise.
People don't understand that.
Yeah, no, it's the consumers that are in trouble. That's correct. So
yeah.
Yep.
So we missed you on the last one here, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on Bologna and the signing of Jody DeLim. I know they played last. I think both of them played.
Yeah, they both played
last night for that here. But Royce, your thoughts on the new additions and how you see them impacting the roster?
Well, back when I believed in the MLS, I was a Sounders fan. I supported the Sounders, so I'm very familiar with Jordy DeLim and his work. I think he is a perfect match for this team. And my dog just opened up the blinds by herself to look out the window, so it looks like somebody just shone brightly on me. But he is a perfect profile player for this team, and kind of showed it yesterday with an early yellow card already. So you love to see it. That's correct. It wasn't welcome to USL. It was him introducing himself to RGV because he knows that's he was always kind of that way against the Timbers as well. So it's good to see he's still Jordy DeLim. But Nacho coming back. Nacho coming back that's awesome. Another player that really fits the profile for this team. Him, subbing in for Collier or Dylan up front.
Collier, 83rd minute.
Perfect.
Both.
Right. That's who he came in for. I'm just saying in the future, that's kind of, he's also 6'4". He's also has a heck of a left foot that we all remember.
Wicked one.
And I know he spent the last season or so, in was it Serbia? Or no, Croatia.
Croatia. First division in Croatia.
Right. So that was kind of a surprise get for him to come over, but he's a known entity and he's a known very good player when he for his time on Safc. So you can't be anything other than excited about that signing. That's almost a perfect signing right there, as well as Jordy DeLim. You think, kind of quarter season through mid-season signings are probably going to be, kind of, I don't want to say bottom of the barrel, but you're getting a little desperate with their signings. Those are two signings that would have been really welcome in the offseason. So 2 really good signings. Very happy about them.
Matt, good morning. There was a lot of hydration on the bus going down. I did partake in a couple of beers. I will just say. So it would not shock me if Rob is a little hungover and probably still asleep since I dropped him off at his girlfriend's. Well, his girlfriend came to the trip, but they live close to us. So instead of having him take an Uber back, took him home for that here. So he is probably going to catch this on the replay. But good morning, and why are you up, by the way, at this god-awful hour on a long weekend?
Did you even go to sleep, Gamez? Good Lord.
So I dropped 10. What we got back. So initial thoughts on the week here, kind of moving the show along here. To me, like I said here, initial thoughts on the week or the game here. I know me and Rafa talked a couple of days ago. To me, the trip that the Crocketeers put together, the bus going down, was a lot of fun. There was about 25 to 30 of us on the bus. Unfortunately, Alexander Austin did not make the trip. He had a life lesson, we'll say. And so, but no, it was a fun. Thank you to the Crocketeers for putting together. Rafa, your initial thoughts on the game?
It was a, like I said, it's always a big game against RGV. It's the rivalry game. Copa Texas game too, because it counts on the standings, and then we're going to see how our team was going to react after having a week off, and maybe that was a blessing in disguise, since they've been on the road and playing multiple games, kind of back to back, and it showed yesterday, that we're still kind of a team to be reckoned with, a top dog. We controlled the game, and we had a couple little mishaps here, but it's gonna happen. But it's a rivalry game. But I think we played really well yesterday, and I'm glad we came out with the 3 points.
And Royce, if you want to do thoughts on the game or thoughts on the week, floor is yours. Like I said here, I know Rafa and I on the last show had about 15 minutes on. Unfortunately, what took place in Uvalde, but anything, your initial thoughts, whether it's the game or off pitch?
So obviously the game was the least important thing that happened last week, but I'll go into that later. Just one of the reasons I didn't really want to come on is I just, you gotta collect yourself. I was definitely not in a good state of mind to pod, but
to say anything positive.
Man, just love on those families, love on Uvalde right now. They're having a tough time, and this is it's a very preventable tragedy in many ways. A lot of balls were dropped, but just the biggest thing we can all learn from this is to vote accordingly, and listen to what people are saying right now, and the fallout. Don't listen to those making excuses. Don't listen to those that are going on business as usual. Listen to those who want to change. If you want to change things, if you're not happy with what happened, if it upsets you that 19 babies died, including 2 teachers, which are the lifeblood of our country. If that doesn't make you happy, then vote for the people that are trying to change things to where babies don't have to worry about going to school, and they don't have to worry about having their life ended at school where they should be safest, or at a grocery store where you should be safest, or at a movie theater where you should be safest. Vote accordingly, because it's enough is enough. And I know people are, especially in this state, are not willing to make certain sacrifices for themselves. as far as their hobbies. But just consider that if your hobby is the number one leading cause of the deaths of children, of babies, then you probably want to rethink your hobby. And you can modify it. You can slightly modify what you do. You don't have to use certain tools. There's other tools that get the job done. So just think about that. Just really look in your heart and think about that, because it's very obvious we need a change in this country, and we need a change of mindset for sure.
Need to do something. I do know that and pictured here in the United for Uvalde, which was taken by Edson Ochoa for that here. I believe it came from Edson. The Crocketeers and the Stampede came together both at the tailgate for that here, and then also later on during the match in the 21st minute, where also players on the field took a knee along those lines here. But just I don't want to Rafa and I said our piece, you said your piece, and I think we could all go for another hour talking about the situation, and unfortunately it's hasn't gotten better since we last talked, Rafa. More dirt came out, but I don't want to dwell into that too much this morning here. So moving on to the game for that here, I did think this was a little bit funny here. Royce, any thoughts on this formation here? Yeah, Collier, Dylan, Abu up top, Maloney, Hernandez, PC, Troy, Garcia, Kamiri, Mitchell, and Farr. So they got the back four right.
Well, the back three, but it's a pretty typical ESPN thing where they're like, maybe let's just throw names on there with no semblance of actual formation. It is what it is. I love how
they have 6 defenders listed as well on the side here.
Oh, that's more true than false, but no. Trying to transition to the game, obviously, I mean, it's tough to make that transition, but I was really happy to see the Stampede and Crocketeers getting together for a match and peacefully coming together, definitely for the 21st minute before the match and staying together. That was really nice to see. You don't get to see that a lot with rival supporters groups, especially San Antonio RGV, which we've had our dust-ups in the past, but this is a very important thing. That's much, much more important than the sport. And it was really nice to see everybody come together for Uvalde. Trying to transition to the game, kind of talking early in the match. Obviously, we played in our standard 3-5-2. We really looked sloppy. Well, I will say for the first 20 minutes, looked pretty good. After the first 20 minutes and to finish out the first half, we looked very sloppy. And it just kind of looked like there was that rust from not playing for a couple weeks that they needed to just kind of brush off. But the first 20 minutes, really good. They looked solid. A lot of bend, don't break defending. And then they got their goal, which we'll continue with if you want to go into that.
Yeah, so let me hit the highlights here. Get back to this one here. And, of course, these highlights are courtesy of USL Championship and YouTube here. You guys can't hear that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had it earlier. That happened.
And we're going to go on this highlight. I really appreciate this, the sequence that they kept the whole thing together. USL kept the whole thing together from the beginning of this move all the way until the end, with the initial cross from the left, how it kind of trickled through. It eventually goes to Maloney. Maloney crosses, it gets kicked out, and then Nikki picks it up, puts the cross in. Collier has a flick on, Okay, here we go. So Dylan has the touch there. Maloney picks it up. He tries to cross it back to Dylan. It gets kind of dealt with by RGV, cleared. It goes to Abu to Nikki. Nikki's here. Collier flicks it on. PC flicks it on right to Dylan's path, and Dylan finishes it. It's a really good team goal. It's exactly what you need in that situation. And it was perfect. You use the height. You use the crossing from the outside. And if you look at the RGV defender and Derek have a pretty nasty collision. And honestly, if that happens and it's an SAFC player that has a collision, I think they're staying down for a lot longer than the minute. But that's Pimentel and Derek have a very nasty collision. That's created by Dylan's first touch and the finish. But it's a really good team goal.
And I think I got it here. No.
It's just not going to work. That's right.
No, it's going to work.
I'll do the commentary. I'll do the commentary. Not a big deal.
Just
there you go. You can see Tyler Derek there flying into Pimentel.
Dylan to possess that, good, for trapping the ball and able to place it was really good on him.
Yeah, that's one thing definitely this season that's been different from the past couple seasons from Dylan is his patience and his touch. He's a lot more locked in. We know the first season or two, especially toward the beginning of the season, he kind of had things would get away from him. He put too much pressure on himself, but he is just a different player this season, and he's been amazing. He's been incredible. There's no two ways about that. He's been great.
Any thoughts on RGV's goal here off of the corner here?
So yeah, really good corner as it goes right into the mixer, and it needs to be dealt with better. You have your four tallest guys right there. Collier's there, Tainer's there, Fabian's there, and Kamiri's there. Nobody deals with the second ball. Everybody looks at the first ball. It doesn't get dealt with. There's a pretty clear handball by the RGV player to bring it down, but that's neither here nor there. He doesn't really know much about it. It falls right in front of the RGV player, and he finishes it, which was it Cabezas that finishes it.
That was pretty. Here's another look at it.
But it goes right in the mixer, and then it goes in the mixer, and they just don't deal with it. Nobody deals with the ball, the second ball, and that's always that's the most dangerous thing in a corner kick. It's a second ball. That's why SAFC normally flies over everybody to Taintor, and Taintor hits it back. It's that second ball that's the most dangerous, that no one's really ready for. And that's what happens here. They put the ball in the mixer. That's why you put the ball in the mixer. You don't know where it's going to go. It lands right by an RGV player, and he finishes well.
Rafa, this is what the second goal, because against Miami also there was a set piece goal, right? I want to say off of that.
We won 2-0 in Miami, so no.
I think it was RGV. I think it was the first game. It was kind of the same thing.
We beat RGV 1-0, didn't we?
No, 2-1.
Oh, 2-1.
It was 2-1.
Okay. Maybe it was.
It was a similar goal. It just scrambled around, and like I said, some of the guys had their backs turned, and then they were able to squeeze one in. But I think they got to be better on those. You got the high, you got to clear those out. That's just not an excuse to allow them to get a cheap one like that.
I thought it was a little bit unlucky though, just for
it's definitely unlucky, but that's exactly why you put the ball there.
You
put the ball exactly where it needed to be, because you'll get lucky a lot. That's why, see, there's a handball right there. He brings it down with his hand completely. But that's why you do that. That's why you put it there in the mixer, and that's why you have that player on the dot just waiting for the rebound. And it was well played by RGV, misplayed by SAFC, but even top teams give up goals like that all the time. The team that I don't know about a top team, but the team that I can think gave up the most goals like this, especially this season, was Manchester United. They were horrible in set pieces, and this is a big reason why they didn't deal with it. But You just kind of got to learn from that. And then this was a couple really good things.
Antonio has regained the lead.
Dylan going wide to a Collier, and then Collier putting that shot on frame. Derek does not deal with it. He's got to catch that. That's on the goalkeeper. But at the same time, Mitch having anticipation that rebound's going to be there is perfect. And even if he doesn't score, it's a pretty clear penalty as there's a tackle from behind, a very desperate tackle from behind on Mitch. But he finishes, and I guess no harm, no foul.
Royce, I think Matt wants to have a discussion with you. Says, Man United didn't do anything to you.
Yeah, they did. They tried to relegate Everton, so they have a big issue with me. So, yep.
I think Matt points out but that was an own goal. I think it might have been an own goal. If you watch the replay, I think you see how the RGV player kind of pushes the ball a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny. He's trying to kick Taintor's ankle, and I think he gets the ball instead. It's very possible.
I think it was an own goal, but hey, we'll give it a miss on that.
That's fine. It's like hockey. If there's an own goal, it's whoever was closest to the goal on the ice. That's who gets the goal. So there you go. It's a hockey goal for Taintor. Is that his second in 3 matches?
I think so.
Oh no, that's his third in 3 matches because he scored. He scored the penalty against Miami to seal it. He scored the off the corner kick in the 6-0 shellacking of
Monterrey.
Monterrey, and then this one. So that's 3 goals in 3 games for Taintor. I need to tweet about that. I just thought about that. That's an insane little run of form for him. That's awesome.
So then the game gets a little bit here. I will say from the game we saw the red. It was pretty clear. I know Edson in his write up with the striker Texas.
Yeah, shout out to Edson. I saw his little post game report on Twitter Live.
There should have been a red rip before with Lopez.
Oh yeah, we couldn't see it. We couldn't see it though, right?
Yeah, the camera didn't catch it, but it was a pretty typical Frank Lopez Jeep shot. But no, he went in hard on Taintor and just stepped on him, scraped him with his cleats high on his ankle as they're walking back. But the cameras didn't catch it, and obviously the assistant ref wasn't paying attention. So yeah, they should have been down to 9 men here, but this is a textbook red card. I don't know why anybody even argued it. You could even tell when Pimentel gets up and he looks at the ref. He doesn't really look that. He just kind of looks like he's going through the motions of arguing it, but he knows, okay, I'm off. This is fine.
This is the first foul here.
That should be a foul on RGV. That's table topping. That's a typical foul. Mo's trying to get to it. He gets tabletop, and then studs up to the shin. Red card. Go hit the shower. You're out for the next game as well. See ya. And to be fair, that's Pimentel's first red card against SAFC. That should probably be his third. So he's kind of the Yuma of RGV. He always of RGV. He always somehow gets away with borderline red. This one, not borderline, red every day.
Yeah, you can just tell right here. It's cleats up. It's high. It's
miss the ball. Goes through the player. Cleats up into the shin.
Even if he would have got the ball, it's a dangerous play. This is the one where hey, he got the ball. Argument wouldn't work because he just a high boot.
Correct.
Injury risk goes extremely high.
Yep. It's even if you get the ball, it's still endangering a player. And even if you win a ball, you can't go through a player to win the ball. So nope. See ya. Red. Bye.
So, but we're gonna switch over to this one here because Rafa pointed out to me this morning that there is another event that
Pimentel was involved. Watch Mitch Jainer there. And then there's a punch thrown at him.
Yeah, all the players on both teams getting into it now.
There was a punch thrown from Pimento to
All the
Tainer.
Did I just miss it?
I think it might be on that sequencer.
Tyler Derrick comes over.
He's just trying to clear out.
Not happy.
You know,
Yeah, it's a two-handed shove from Taintor, and there's a little retaliation. But yeah, the ref.
There it is, right there.
Yep, there you go. Hand of the face. Pretty clear hand of the face there. Once again, the Yuma of RGV just kind of gets away with it. So,
well, it already got a red, so who knows if, because you can tell the referee's looking at it.
Yeah, it could be
another player.
The question comes in: does Pimentel get longer than the one game? And it'll be interesting to see. I have a feeling you guys are probably going to highlight it a little bit more. I'm pretty sure SAFC, when they watch the film, is going to send that to USL Championship for review. I believe that's how that process would go. And then I'd be interested to see or be interested to hear with the referee's report, if it has anything on it. I know the USL highlights obviously had nothing to do with it. That's why we went to the ESPN Plus broadcast here for that here, because it's a clear hand to the face, and you can even see his reaction there for Tainter. So.
And then Pimentel's still going after him. The referee should have really hey, get him out.
Yeah, it took Kamiri's giant frame to literally pick Pimentel off the ground and get him away.
You have some players that are
but no, the ref was very inconsistent in this match, and I even texted you all that the first 20 minutes, the ref kept telling everyone, get up, get up, get up. And then after they had the 21st minute pause, after that, he was calling everything. So he was just very inconsistent. Every time RGV would go down, boom, it was a whistle. There were 3 or 4 times I remember clearly that Maloney was frustrated because he would get someone with the press. They would get someone in a corner, and they would still be a couple feet from them, and the RGV player would just fall, and he would call a foul, and it was like, no, that wasn't a foul. And then there were a couple yellow cards that were pretty questionable. Was it Ruiz or what's the kid's name? Isaka or Ikaza. Thank you. Can't think of his name. Ikaza and Fabian go shoulder to shoulder. Ikaza comes out worse because he has a smaller frame. He goes flying, and Fabian gets a red or a yellow card. And that was kind of
we see that all the time, though.
One. It was it was shoulder to shoulder. It was 50-50 challenge, and to get a yellow card out of that is, buddy.
There was one by Lorera that he took down here on the left side.
Yeah, he got kicked, and it was a foul. Yeah,
red instead of a yellow because it was from the back or behind.
And nowhere near the ball. It should have at least been a yellow, probably an orange card. But yeah,
he got a yellow, but that should have been.
Did he get a yellow? Yeah,
he got a yellow, but that should have been a red.
Yeah,
from the angle, if you watch the replay, you see the angle. He got him.
He'll send it forward into the box. This is Dylan. A shot and a score.
And then a brace for Dylan.
Antonio.
And when Dylan making finishes like that,
the slightest mistake, and you see it here,
especially after the couple week pause.
It's a nice job of staying just on side, and then
that's really good to see. That's very good to see. And then this is just a poor mistake by Farr.
Farr has no business being out there.
Right on the edge of the area. Farr doesn't get there. Open net. A shot and a score.
Nope.
Then it takes a beautiful stretch to the teenager, but
that was poor judgment. And you hope that it's sorted out now.
Yeah.
That the back line could be like, we got this. We were on everybody. Nobody was open. We had 2 guys on that guy. There's no reason that you should come after that. So let's just calm down and let's see out some games. So hopefully that's just a learning thing. and you'd rather it happen now than later in the season. And hopefully Farr learns from that. Yeah, okay, I could wait on the boys. It's fine, especially when you have a 2-goal lead late in the game. You don't need to make that kind of challenge.
Rafa, your thoughts on Farr? Obviously, I think everybody knows it was a mistake, but just, as a goalkeeper, kind of your thoughts on maybe what he was thinking, trying to come out, and ways that if you were coaching him or to kind of help educate young goalkeepers, what was the right move for him to do at that point?
Well, he should have stayed in the box, but if you're going to commit to a play like that, you need to finish it. And I think what he should have done just punch that ball out. And I think you can see there's by the time he gets to the ball, there's some hesitation.
Right.
And that's what caused the error. You got to be 100% sure on those plays. And if you commit yourself to something like that, you gotta finish it. And going Royce mentioned, he had his two defenders there. There was really no danger. Even if he heads that, if Jordan stays in his box, he's in a good place to defend that. So hopefully, I'm sure Coach Madrd's probably gonna have a little talk with him on that and correct it. But you do plays like that. If you're gonna come out of your box, you better stay committed and not, second guess. And that's what he did. He second guessed himself right at the end.
So looking at the stats here, possession, another 57-43, which for San Antonio, not a huge deal. I think the shocking part to me, RGV had 14 shots. We only had 7, which is relatively low for us. However, shots on target, 3 for RGV, 4 for us. And then, we only had 3 off target. They had 11. Fouls, 16-18, as you mentioned, chippy, 5 and 6, 5 yellow cards for RGV in the red. We had 6 yellow cards. So, it was a chippy match. Passing percent, they were about 70%. We were about 60%. So nothing stands out. And then of course, the defensive side here, they had 17 tackles. We had 18, they had 9 interceptions. We had 14, and clearances, they had 12, we had 21. So to me, outside of the low volume of shots, which typically you see San Antonio FC have a higher volume of shots. To me, it was a typical San Antonio FC match, along those lines here. Pretty even if you go through the shots. We had 3 in the first half, 4 in the second half. So any thoughts stat-wise that stood out to you? Or, like I said here, I know we're kind of wrapping up on the RGV match here, but anything that stood out to you stat-wise, either Rafa or Royce, whoever wants to take it first?
I think that what we need to improve on is the passing accuracy. Mm-hmm. I'm just watching the game. We're in the beginning. I know maybe a little rust, but I've noticed a few games we've been giving really bad passes, and I think maybe that's something they really kind of need to work on. Because I think, honestly, if we're better passing the ball as far as accuracy, we may be putting more ball, goals in the net, and not also, getting turnovers and them creating goals on us. But I think that's the one area I think we need to improve on. Just to get better, and I think make things a lot better especially for our forwards going, on our attack, because then we can put some put some games away, especially like those 2 losses that we had. We just didn't pass the ball well, so I think Marcina needs to kind of fix that. But overall, defensive wise, we're doing what we're doing what we need to be doing, and so that's great. We just have to stay consistent.
Stats wise, I think the most surprising thing was the lack of yellows from RGV. Played very physical, borderline dirty.
So 5 wasn't enough for you, and you're looking more 7-8ish.
They should have had they should have had more than SAFC. B, they should have had a lot more in general. They're taking some liberties, and they really took advantage of the refs calls. it really seemed kind of toward as SAFC built their lead and dominated the game more after in the second half. They kind of turned a page and they really got physical and they were getting real borderline. And the ref in the beginning of the match, the first half, he gave out a lot of yellow cards, especially to SAFC. And it just kind of seemed like he was like, oh, I'm giving out, like at halftime, he thought, oh, I'm giving out too many cards. So he let a lot go. And what he let go just happened to be RGV taking advantage of the ref, obviously keeping the cards in his pocket and making a thing of that. And then there are a couple fouls that happen where he's like, okay, now I got to give yellows again because that was a classic yellow. So the borderline yellows just kind of, he was like, I'll let those go. I've given too many already. I don't want to turn into what's his name from the New Mexico United match. But RGV definitely deserved a few more yellows for sure if he wanted to control that match. And it kind of came to a head with Frank kicking out at Taintor. Oh, there's a El Gato Medio Blanco back there. But it all came to a head with that incident and the ref not giving anything out for that, and the AR not paying attention, the fourth ref not paying attention. Just a typical USL ref match, but the big thing is you got all 3 points on the road in RGV. Should have been 3-1, but ifs and buts, candy and nuts, it'd be Christmas every day. Still a good match. And came out with the 3 points and everybody looked good. And you made 2 really big additions that made pretty good impacts on the field. It's a pretty darn good week, fellas.
We're getting healthier. Not that I don't love our academy kids, but there were no academy kids, I believe, on the bench this week for the first time.
Nope.
Moving on, Copa Tejas, standing-wise, SAFC's 6 points out of 6 points. They're still on pace for 12 max. El Paso RGV, they've each played 1 match against SAFC. Their max is 9. The next Copa Tejas match is June 29th. RGV hosts El Paso. So depending on who wins that, technically you could see possibly San Antonio either clinch the Copa Tejas July 23rd in El Paso or August 20th when they when they host RGV for that here. So Copa Tejas, San Antonio in a very, very, very good position at this point. It's not clinched or anything like that, but
definitely in the catbird seat.
Definitely in a great position compared to the others. Also, Copa Shield for it here, which is a combination with the Copa Tejas MLS teams. Austin FC hasn't played as of yet today here, so depending on their result, but San Antonio's clear so far they're at 2.45 points per game. Austin FC is at 1.85. FC Dallas is at 1.79. So even if San Antonio dropped a game here or there, because they do go on the road at Sacramento and then at Monterey Bay, who is playing much better, which Rafa, can tell us the fighting Sam Gleedles, who's got back-to-back goals. So some congratulations, Sam. Since they got home and a little bit of rest, Monterey Bay is looking fairly decent.
Yeah, and once again, Kai Green with a vital defensive performance for Monterey Bay. Shout out to Kai. They didn't look – well, I'll say this. They didn't look that bad. Colorado Springs looked awful yesterday.
Do you think it's just because they've been off for 2 weeks?
3 weeks, my guy. Almost 3.5 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly why. They looked rusty. They didn't look good. They didn't look well-connected. They even tried a new formation. A lot of things went against Colorado Springs. The biggest thing that went against them, they gave up 4 goals. And you're not going to win a lot of matches giving up 4 goals.
It surprised me Haji Berry was playing deep to receive.
That was a very interesting thing, is that they had a Mo, and I think the coach is really going to learn from that. Well, if you're a Switchbacks fan, you hope so. But he had Haji Berry coming out staying up front, you had a Mo sit back whenever who subbed out for a Mo. Oh man, it was
I can tell you here real soon.
the kid that got hurt. I can't think of his name. Which hopefully he's all right. That didn't look good. But whenever they switched, Barry stayed up front when he should have come back. Mo should have gone up because Mo was looking for headers all day long, and if he puts one or two more of those on frame, it's a different match. He had 3 or 4 very clear headers, which if you're Alan Marcina, I hope you watch the film on that game, because on the penalty spot, that was open all day long. So you put Dylan, you put Collier, or you put Nacho there, headers all day long, as much as you want. You get Traore and Shannon up front, cross it in, you got that penalty spot, pick your corner. All day long, that was open. And Mo had 4 or 5 shots, and he only put one of those in. Should have been more, but and there were a couple scrambles that Monterey Bay looked pretty awful. But they cleared the ball. They did what they needed to. They didn't break. And at the other end, Colorado Springs was a shambles in the back. It's pretty bad. But Monterey Bay gets the result, and that helps us out a lot. So thank you, Sam. Thank you, Kai.
So right now, San Antonio in the Western Conference, first place at 27. Have a game in hand on the Switchbacks, who are at 24. Loyal and Phoenix.
Switchbacks have the game in hand. We've played one more.
Have the game in hand. Pardon me. Loyal and Phoenix. Loyal gave up 2 goals.
2 in stoppage time. Yeah, 2 goals in stoppage time to lose those. That was the fight in Landon Donovan's looked bad at the end of yesterday's game.
They're a little bit snake bitten right now, because they had the goal in RGV that
should have counted.
I think it should have, because there's the angle that we're looking at is not down the line. Edson talked to, or not, Edson heard, on his reporting that, the AR, is the one that confirmed the goal against the Loyal for RGV. But and I know Loyal fans are complaining about, the extra time being added, because I think it was 4 minutes. LA Galaxy 2 got a PK at 5 minutes, but there was some time wasting, along those lines that that the Loyal was doing. Bottom line to me, for Loyal fans, you convert that PK early in the first half, it's 3-0, and you're not having this discussion. If you miss a PK, that was the game. The game changed at that, and extra time, like I said, I've complained about it. PK, like I said, if you get put in that position, and you gave it up. So Rising rebounded with a 2-1 win, in Hartford, with starters, unlike the academy team that played against New Mexico. El Paso had a 1-0 win on the $1 Juice Jose Canseco halftime softball event. I don't know if you happened to catch that, Royce.
I would have loved to have been to that, but I had prior engagements. But no, in that match, didn't Soliak get 2 yellows, so he was off with the red. So El Paso was down to 10 men, and they still won it late. And as far as stoppage time goes, you want to talk about some strange decisions on stoppage time. After to end the match between this past match between RGV and SAFC, there's 4 minutes at the end of the match.
Mm-hmm.
After the first half stoppage time, 5 minutes. There were no major injuries. They did have the minute stoppage silence in memory of the victims of the Uvalde massacre. But 5 minutes of that first half, no idea where that comes from. So that was a bizarre decision.
It wasn't anyway.
That was strange, man. I don't see where they got 5 minutes from, but sure. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
New Mexico at 19. They're on at least a 5-game unbeaten streak here. They got a good win against Indy 11. I don't know if you guys caught that second goal. Bar
down. The bar down goal, that was dirty. Yeah.
Well, no, how New Mexico scored their second goal. Did you catch that?
I saw one goal that was from outside the area that went bar down and in. Was there is there another one that I'm missing?
There is a goal that you have to see here.
Oh no. That's not good.
Controversial.
I'm just gonna say it's a goal that you need to see. Hold on here. Let me get this queued up here.
Nope. I got the highlights going right now.
That goal by Boone from Monterey Bay, that one from the tight end.
Oh, that was slick, and that was real poor defending. That's what I mean. It was a match of very poor defending by Colorado, and that kind of that really. I think I just saw it.
All right, let's see here. I think I got queued.
Oh no, was it on a back pass? It was on a back pass. Oh no. Oh. Yeah, I just saw that. Oh no.
Oh no.
That's why you never put a back pass on that. You always kick it wide. Oh my god. So it's a bad pass that should never be on net. That needs to be wide of the net. It's bad on the center back for just flubbing it, and it's bad on the goalkeeper for not paying attention.
First touch.
Buddy.
Yeah, that's not winning goal of the week, but it might appear in the ESPN.
That would be a heck of a troll for that to win goal of the week. Oh man.
ESPN's worst moments. I forget what they call it now, but
the not top 10,
not top 10. But yeah, that's got to be a candidate this week.
Oh, buddy,
that's through there. Finishing out the standings, Oakland Roots, Sacramento Republic drew 1-1. Vegas.
Yeah, we just went over that.
16 points, just out of the playoffs. LA Galaxy 10th is RGV at 15 points. Orange County, the defending champ, even though they haven't lost in 5 matches, they're only at 14 points. But
they're putting it together. They've really had a rough beginning to the season, but they're starting to put it together.
But they drew Atlanta United too, which is not a good result.
Not a good result.
Roots and Monterey Bay starting to fill it out, although still not prettiest. I don't think either one of them will be serious contenders. But the playoffs are
You know what? Last season, the Roots were in the basement for a while, and they really started putting it together in August. So you never know. And they're within striking distance. I mean, the difference between the playoff line and where Monterey is what was that, 6 points? That's 2 matches. You can turn that around quickly.
So out east, just to go over real quick, Louisville City, 13 matches, 27 points. They did have kind of a rough streak against the West, losing to LA Galaxy and Monterey Bay at home. Memphis is, I think, the surprise of the league, 25 points. Detroit City, solid. They've had a lot of home games, so it'll be interesting that, once they start going on the road and playing some teams.
And a lot of the results they've gotten have been against lower teams on the table, so we'll see when they start playing.
You play who's on your schedule.
It's very true.
Results.
That's very true. That's very true. But you end up playing everybody, so their schedule is going to get a little tougher. So we'll see how they cope with that. Not saying they can't stay in that position, but we'll see how they cope with playing top teams
and more on the road here. Pittsburgh had a draw in Miami. So they 4-5.
Weren't they down 2-0 and they came back?
Yes.
To draw 2-2?
And then I guess the lights went out in the match because they had a 2 hour.
Oh wow!
2+ hour delay due to thunderstorms or whatever.
Wow.
and I'm assuming the lights were pre-programmed to be on for a couple hours after the match scheduled, and so I saw a comment saying, Miami FC may have left Nisa, but Nisa hasn't left Miami FC.
No.
And in the final playoff spot, Indy 11, Birmingham Legion, who I think's, in my opinion, going through the Darren Powell last year with their coach, where they got the talent, but they're not playing poorly, but they're not playing great, and it's just that. Tulsa, I don't know what the heck's wrong with you.
Well, the Legion, the Legion had kind of a big exodus from their team. With Junior Fleming's going to the French League, Nico Brett going to New Mexico United. They had some pretty
turnover
important players from last season move on to different teams. So
although they did trade a two-time USL starting center back who wasn't getting minutes in Legion to the Rowdies this week, who need a center back for cash and an international spot. So way to help out your rivals there, Legion. The bottom of the East, just trash, dude. It's so bad. I hate saying that, but it's just so bad. So Rafa, it's time for your show, your time of the show here. I didn't really care who won. I guess I was going more Liverpool because I lean Barcelona compared to Real Madrid, so I don't really root for them. It was a fun watch on the bus going down, but you got title number 14, a tough 1-0 win over Liverpool. Your thoughts? Any celebration dances you're going to be doing? What's going on?
I want to be going honking downtown. The Madrid flag. I knew going in this game we weren't, no one was giving Real Madrid the chance and so forth. And I don't know but you put on the last show, you put on something that Liverpool hadn't really played anybody. Real Madrid has. You knocked off PSG, you knocked off Chelsea.
They had the way tougher path. There's no question.
And and basically all those 3 games that were left for dead, and they found a way. And that's the thing. If you find a way to win, even if you get outplayed, you find a way to win. That's all that matters. And the first 20 minutes, we got outplayed. I mean, really, Liverpool should have put us away, but you got to give it to the best goalkeeper in the world, which is Courtois. I mean, he was just lights out. I mean, those great saves he made, and then finally we got that one in the second half. And I know that goal with Benzema, I think, should have counted, but VAR disallowed it. But that was the turning point of the game, and that's when Real Madrid really kind of started turning it up a little bit. And that little run by Valverde, that cross, and Vinny Jr., nailing that shot in, and that was it. And that's all Real needed, and they defended great, and then Courtois made the save of the year on Salah's shot about 10 minutes left into the game. And
I don't know about save of the year. Let's not get crazy.
Well, the save of the year for Champions League, because that could have changed the whole.
Yeah, it would have changed the game for sure. Yeah.
And you can tell there when he made that save, Liverpool just went. They knew that they were done. They weren't going to win that game. Their confidence kind of got killed there. So kudos to Ancelotti and the boys there winning number 14. It was a team effort. I mean, and then, like I said, this is a team that wasn't really getting any press as far as or from the from all the experts saying that they're PSG is going to win or Man City is going to win because they had the more talented team. But for this team to pull it off, not only to win La Liga but also to win the Champions League, says a lot as far as Ancelotti and how the players really kind of believed in the system. So, and hopefully we can repeat it again. I know we're going to be adding we added a couple pieces that I think is going to help, and we'll see from what happens. But hey, congratulations to them. Can't take away number 14. Hopefully we can get 15 pretty soon.
Yeah, Real Madrid's going to be crazy next season with the addition of Erling Haaland. I'm sorry, Kylian Mbappe. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know who they're adding. So obviously not those two.
Aurelian. Oh, they picked
But
up another player from France, so from Monaco, and he may be just. I think the one player that really kind of stood out this year was, as far as one of the signings was Camavinga.
Camavinga played really well in the midfield. Vinicius Jr. was the revelation this season for Real Madrid. He played out of his goddamn mind. The non-surprise that happened was Casemiro not getting a red when he deserved 3 reds. So pretty typical from Casemiro. He's done that his entire career.
Was the first didn't get a red since like 84?
Yeah, just very surprising.
And then Benzema. What can you say about Benzema? That's your Ballon d'Or.
If he's a better person, he probably wins a Ballon d'Or. But he's a terrible person. But he's an amazing player. So
he's gonna win it.
What are you gonna do there? But from my point of view, I support Barca. I also support Everton. So watching Liverpool, watching Liverpool lose, slightly better than watching Real Madrid win. Either way, I could not care less about this match. I did watch quite a bit of it. I hope both teams have a very terrible time and lose somehow. That's where you. Excuse me, pray for the thunderstorm that cancels a match and they just go home.
Well, I was on the bus, but the game started about a half hour delayed due to
the French police.
And to me, and Royce may be able to speak more to this.
Can you imagine going to a match, getting tear gassed, and then watching your team lose? Oh, buddy.
And especially with it being Liverpool, because they were the ones that were unfortunately part of Hillsborough. Along those lines here, I saw pictures of just people cramped together. You're starting to hear stories, and I guess this was directed from. I know a lot of people are directing it at UEFA, but. The part that doesn't make sense to me is Real Madrid fans seem to got in just fine. What happened on the Liverpool side, and to me, how UEFA came out, from my understanding, came out and basically lied to people saying, the supporters showed up late, which wasn't the case for Liverpool. Your guys' thoughts on the off-field stuff, the ugly side of it, I guess you could say, outside of the match there.
There's a problem. I think they said that there were some counterfeit tickets, that was causing a lot of the this issues, and there's, like I said, I saw the videos. They didn't have to do all that crap to the Liverpool fans. They weren't causing any problems and stuff. They were just trying to get into the game, because I know there were more Liverpool fans than Real Madrid fans at the game. But that was for UEFA's statements. It's just a poor excuse. They could have found a better way for that situation and so forth. And like I said, you saw the videos of people showing hey, look here, I have my ticket. There's no reason to me getting pepper sprayed. Now that you do have your couple little hooligans here and there. Mm-hmm. You did see some videos of them jumping over the fence. Yeah, take care of them, but don't spray the other fans that that don't deserve that.
So, in the final topic, who you got? Huddersfield Town or Nottingham Forest in the the richest game of the year to get the promotion to go from champions up to.
From the championship to the Premier League. I will say, huge shout out to Sunderland for finally having me excited about a Sunderland Till I Die season because they actually got promoted back to the
Sunderland
championship.
can go to hell, dude.
Are you a Newcastle fan? Where does this come from?
Partially, but I'm more of an Accrington Stanley fan. And
they suck. They suck. Deal with it.
We'll just say Sunderland thinks they're too good to come down to Accrington. And
well, first of all, they are. Number two, they haven't been, and they need to prove that, and they finally proved that this season. So they were where they deserved to be. They were really a shambles. They had really poor ownership, even worse ownership than Mike Ashley, which is saying a lot.
Yes.
And like I said, they're finally back in the championship. They belong in the Premier League. That's one of those historic teams that it's not like belong no matter what. They went down because they deserve to go down.
Yes.
They were really awful for a few seasons, but at the same time, it's a historic team that
they're a big team. Yeah. They're a big team. They're a historic team.
It's like if Everton would have been relegated. They haven't been relegated for like 75 years. No, they should not have been, and that's why they didn't go down. Burnley definitely deserved to, because Burnley fired Sean Dykes for no reason. Anyway, we are getting way out of
4 managers right this year.
We are getting way off topic, but
who are you picking? Come on.
Congrats, Sunderland. Congrats, Lyndon Gooch, noted American on Sunderland. That's awesome. Who am I picking, Forest or Huddersfield Town? Huddersfield Town was just in the Premier League, so I'm going to go with Forest. And I will say one of my favorite bits from the RIP, the Dirty Tackle podcast with Ryan J. Bailey and Theo Messi and the like. They made a commercial for Huddersfield, and it's pretty darn funny if you want to go back and look at podcast archives. Those are fantastic. But I'm gonna have to go for Forest. Is Forest who?
Darren Powell has ties to Forest.
No. Ethan Horvath. Does Ethan Horvath play for Forest? USMNT goalkeeper. Doesn't he play for Forest? If so, then yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely go for Forest. Let's do some quick show research while we're on the show. This is real pro stuff here, boys.
UEFA champions. Well, before it was Champions League in the back-to-back in the 70s.
He is with Nottingham Forest. Yeah, Forest. Ethan Horvath, USMNT goalkeeper, the savior of the Gold Cup against some weird country to our south. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Forest because of the Ethan Horvath connection, and obviously,
even though he doesn't start.
It doesn't matter. He's on the team. Who cares?
He is the backup. Yeah,
Zach Steffen.
He's the Zach Steffen.
You still support. Everybody still supports Man City because Zach Steffen's on Man City, which is still nuts.
We're gonna have to talk about the goalkeepers of the U.S. men's national team.
Eventually, we will.
Not this show, but coming up.
Eventually.
Because that is a topic.
Well, it's up in the air. It's up in the air, and we have some top goalie talent. We just got to figure out who's hot.
They're all. But we'll save it for another show.
That's correct. That's correct.
For another show.
We should be wrapping this up pretty soon.
Yes,
we're already an hour.
Final thoughts here, Royce. Your final thoughts.
I mean, not to bring the room down. That's kind of where we're going. So first of all, shout out to the Mentality Monsters. 3 points on the road. It's perfect. That's how you want it. Hopefully everybody's healthy. And it looked like Patino's coming back. I saw him running and training and getting his last few physical checks. So that'll be really good to see. Is a healthy roster. Looking forward to that. But
Manly's the one I'm worried about. We haven't heard anything on Manly yet.
Haven't. So we'll see. That's definitely something to look at. And then Diouf was a last minute. So that might just be a slight issue that he just wasn't good to go for this match. But just real quick, just to kind of summarize, just pray for those families of the 21 we lost. Non-sensibly, very just tragically with no sense at all. Just don't forget them. Don't forget what happened. Don't forget why it happened. Because we need to change a lot of things about ourselves. We shouldn't be happy with where we're at. We shouldn't be happy with where we continue to go, and we need to change something. And the number one way we change something is how we vote. And some of us may need to make slight adjustments on our lifestyle. May need to find a new hobby. Find a new hobby, man, because it's not worth it. This isn't worth it. And like I said, in November, I hope we vote accordingly, because it's embarrassing as a Texan that our leader has been there for multiple mass shootings. He's been there for nearly 1,000 of our fellow Texans dying from a freeze because the electricity went out, because our state couldn't support the basic utilities. It's not a good direction we're going, and we need to change. And the thing that we can do ourselves is change our leadership, and just give it a try. And that's the same thing for laws and how things need to change. We've been doing the same thing over and over and over again, and that's the definition of stupidity, is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. We have not gotten a different result. It's tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. Let's try something new. No matter what it is, let's try something new.
Just do something.
Just do something. That's it. Let's just change something to see if it works. And that's it. If it doesn't work, change it. It's the same thing we tried prohibition we repealed an amendment for, they had an amendment for 3 years, because it was 1919 1919 was suffrage. I think it was 4 years we had prohibition, and then we repealed it because it was obviously stupid. It was dumb. We need to learn from our mistakes, like we had 100 years ago. We need to change something, because it's, like I said, we need to change something, because it's nobody should be happy with what's going on.
Well, nobody is happy. Rafa, your final thought?
Like I said, just kind of piggyback on that. Just prayers for the families. This should, in life, you don't ever see yourself burying your own children. That you're supposed to outlive them. It's heartbreaking to see it. Now after a few days processing it, and there's some anger as far as like I have a criminal justice degree, and the way things, as far as we're taking, done, I'm thinking, where was the common sense out of this? You take an oath to protect and serve. You're giving up your life, which should have happened, but we'll find out more details on that. But I think also our leaders need to start growing a spine and make a change for the better. Have some common sense. Was it? Let's see what this change does. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll find another solution. We have to come together and realize, things are not, ever since Sandy Hook, things are not working, and there is not a problem with mental health or this and that or whatever. I know mental health is a problem as far as, certain areas, like especially like the suicide rate. We haven't even tackled that. So, we need to find solutions, and like Roy said, come November, let your voice be heard. Make some changes and see what happens. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, hey, you can go back and vote, get other people in, and give them a try. So, like I said, it's gonna take a long time, really to recover this. But I'm hoping, like at the end of this, we finally kind of learn our lesson and say, hey, we need to fix this. We need to be better. And then also for the youth, especially all the kids are graduating this week, from college or even high school. really kind of take a look at this and see, what can you do to change this world, and be that impact and fix all these errors, because it's going to make things a lot better for your future. So those are my final thoughts, and then the last thing is, a la Madrid. Thank you for the 14th.
So, and he ruined it at the end. All right.
So I've got 3 final thoughts here. One, just came in. Aaron just tweeted 10 years ago today in San Antonio soccer history, and this is also brought up. Chris Hockman wrote on it. The San Antonio Scorpions took out the Houston Dynamo in the Open Cup, and one of probably a top 5 soccer moment in San Antonio. So it's crazy to think that was 10 years ago. Number 2, UTSA baseball will be playing the championship game of the CUSA tourney today against Louisiana Tech, which in football wise, that's typically a fun rivalry. Maybe not along the lines of UNT level, but right up there as far as chippiness. Louisiana Tech played UTSA early in March, or I guess mid-March, and did take the series 2-1. So one game to see if UTSA baseball can bring another Conference USA championship back to San Antonio. So congrats to UTSA baseball. Not a huge baseball fan, but it's been a fun ride. They played some very good, and even if they lose, they should make it to the NCAA tournament. I believe it starts next week for that here. And then my final thoughts go out to the Stampede, go out to the Crocketeers. I know I opened up the show thinking about it here, but that's what the game's about. It is coming together and supporting each other and having a good time. And it was a memorable event. Shout out to RGV. There was a lot of onions, when they were announcing that, reading off the kids' names and the 2 teachers that passed away. But standing arm to arm in a match during game time. I'm glad that the leadership of the Crocketeers, the leadership of the Stampede, because I had asked Johnny, earlier in the week if this was something that we could do, and I was glad that it happened for that here, and shout out to the security of RGV for not making it bad. But to me, rough week off the pitch. I know San Antonio FC got the win, which is great, but in the scheme of things, it's about the kids, and we could go on for hours and talking about what we should do, what we need to do, what can we do, but we've got to do something. Just meet somewhere. Background checks, bubble gum, whatever, just do something. And I think, I think that as a society, we've got to demand it, for that here. But it's been fun, guys. I'll probably try to do a show this week talking, the lower leagues that are around town. I know Austin FC Athenians tied 1-1 late. I haven't watched the game, obviously, so I can't really speak to it. But from my understanding, Austin Elite came back late to tie it up here. I don't believe the Runners played this week on the ladies' side here, but I'll do some follow-up on that and do a show on that here. But yeah, Uvalde strong. Thoughts and prayers. To all the families that are impacted. And for South Texas, that's a lot of them. But hope everyone has a great day. What's life without goals? We're out of here.